If you shoot with Fujifilm film simulations in bracketing mode with RAW files, what exactly is your camera doing? I don't know. I just make up this stuff each week. Hi everyone, welcome to Pal to Tech. Last week I talked about the film simulation bracketing feature on Fujifilm cameras. Now, to recap, that's when you put your camera in film simulation bracketing mode. Then when you go to take a shot, you get 3 separate JPEG files, one for each film simulation. Since that video came out, the #1 question that I've received is, what about RAW files? I actually shot an entire segment on that, but I did not include it in the final video. And that's because editor Pal to Tech took it out and left all that important footage on the cutting room floor. You know, it's sometimes hard to edit YouTube videos. We're told our videos should be kept as short as possible and fast, shorter and faster. Cut off the horizontal sides, add pop music and captions across the faces, and make our videos more like
Hi guys, Fujifilm Film Simulation Bracketing gives you 3 versions of your shot, each one with a different look. Just put the camera in bracketing mode using the top dial. Go into the menu, into the drive settings, and choose the simulations you want. Make sure you shoot in JPEG. You don't want RAW format. RAW is dumb and you have to use a computer to edit them.
So you ought to know by now that your Fujifilm camera can shoot either JPEG files, RAW files, or both at the same time. And you set the preferences for that in the camera's menu right here. A JPEG is a completely finished image that your camera fully develops and processes the second that you take the shot. Everything, such as the color, the saturation, the sharpness, the clarity, and so forth, is baked right into the JPEG image. Now, a RAW file is very different, and as I've said before on this channel, it's sort of like this box of cereal right here. The file is actually a package that contains a number of things inside of it. First, and most importantly, it contains all of the data that represents what your camera's sensor recorded at the time that you took your shot. All of the information about light, color, dynamic range, and so forth that it saw in the scene. And it is a complicated process that involves metal oxide sensor. And that's all there is to sensor data. Just add this and you've got a RAW file.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna...
Now, also inside this package is something called metadata. This is a whole bunch of information about your camera. Your settings, the date you took the shot, your lens and exposure information, whether or not you remembered to remove your lens cap, and of course, what specific Fujifilm film simulation setting that you used when you took the photo. All that info is right here, and it's right inside the RAW file. In addition to the RAW sensor data and the metadata, you also get a small thumbnail image of what you shot. And not only that, you also get a full-sized JPEG as well. These are used by your camera to display both on the LCD screen on the back of the camera once you're playing back your shot, as well as on your computer when you see a preview of the image. Remember though, this is not the raw data itself, okay? You can't actually display the raw camera sensor data at all. So what happens is your RAW file includes these, right, as sort of a handy reference for many devices that will need that when they preview the file for you to see what it looks like. So what happens when you bracket film simulations, but you only shoot in RAW format? Let's check it out. Here I put the camera in film simulation bracketing mode and chose Provia, Velvia, and the black and white Acros as my 3 choices. I set the camera to only shoot in RAW format, and then I took a single shot. When I go to view what I just shot in the camera, it shows that I captured 3 separate RAW files. And you can clearly see that each file has the correct film simulation applied. So now I'm going to remove my SD card and transfer those files to my computer. And as you can see, they are definitely 3 separate RAW files. But there is some weirdness going on here. If I go to open them in my preview app, you'll see that the black and white Acros is no longer black and white. In fact, all 3 are identical when I preview them. Yet if I open them up in Capture One or Lightroom, they appear to have the correct film simulations. So what's going on here? Well, remember that inside of the RAW file itself, in addition to the camera sensor's RAW data, you were also given this extra thumbnail and a larger JPEG version of the image. These are what your camera's LCD screen or your computer's preview programs are using to display the image for you. In other words, you're looking at these and not this. However, when you go to actually edit your photo in Lightroom or Capture One, you want to be working with all of that raw data, all of that camera sensor data, right? As much as you can, and not the tiny little, thumbnail image. So in order to do that, the program has to combine two things. First, the raw data from your camera's actual sensor, and also that other file, the metadata that has all of the information about your shot, including the film simulation that you used. It then combines the two of these things to give you the final editable image. You can also change the film simulation right in the program, not to mention a million other things that you can do with your image. You get so much flexibility when you shoot RAW. But this really does beg the question, why does Fujifilm give us 3 separate RAW files when shooting film simulation bracketing? There's really no need for that. One can work just fine. Check this out. So here are my 3 bracketed RAW files opened up in Capture One. If I convert the RAW file that has the Acros film simulation in it over to Velvia, have a look at the comparison between that and the other RAW file that was shot with Velvia. They're exactly the same. And that is because when you get right down to it, the film simulation that you use to shoot your RAW file is really nothing more than just an entry in the metadata list. And the other one that I shot with Provia has this entry in its own metadata file and so forth. So basically, no, you never really need to shoot in film simulation bracketing mode using RAW format. Just use JPEGs only, or better yet, use JPEG and RAW so that you get a backup copy of the RAW version of those 3 JPEG files. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you found the video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you did, be sure to give it the like and subscribe. I am going to be signing off now, but I will see you in a video next week. Take care. Gives you 3 versions of your same shot.
On RAW format.
Raw is dumb and you have to edit it. Use a computer to edit them.
Go into the menu.
RAW is dumb and you have to use a computer to edit them.
Make sure you shoot in JPEG. You don't want RAW format.
RAW is dumb and you have to use a computer to edit them.
Take them out of the camera or you...
That these are not the raw data file itself. This is so stupid. I have no idea if this is going to be funny or not. I just keep thinking of the Jerry Springer
Do one more.
show
Do one more.
Maury Povich
Just
when
look
they
at it.
cut
It's just
away.
like, nah.
Nah, no.
There you go. That was good.